Welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking about Sultan Abdul Hamid II, the man who stood as a bulwark against the tides of history, trying desperately to preserve the crumbling Ottoman Empire. For over 3 decades, Abdul Hamid II played a deadly game of geopolitical chess, maneuvering between the great powers of Europe to keep his empire afloat. The Ottoman Empire of the late 19th century was not the world-conquering force it once was. Once a formidable power, it now faced numerous internal and external challenges. Known as the sick man of Europe, its territories were shrinking, and its finances were in shambles. The empire was struggling to maintain its influence and control over its vast, diverse lands. Abdul Hamid needed a weapon to level the playing field. He sought a strategy that could unify his people and restore the empire's former glory. He found it in Pan-Islamism. This ideology aimed to unite Muslims worldwide under a single political and religious leadership. Abdul Hamid understood the power of faith, the unifying force it could be. He believed that by rallying Muslims around a common cause, he could strengthen the empire. He envisioned himself as the Caliph, the protector of all Muslims. This role would not only elevate his status, but also consolidate his power. He poured resources into promoting this image, building mosques, funding Islamic schools, and spreading his message through various means, and presenting himself as the champion of Islam against Western encroachment. This strategy aimed to counteract the growing influence of Western powers and to inspire loyalty among his subjects. Abdul Hamid II was a pragmatist who understood that survival depended on navigating international diplomacy. He played European powers against each other, exploiting their rivalries. He courted the Germans, much to the chagrin of the British and the Russians. He even secured loans from European financiers to modernize his army. In the game of nations, he knew you don't need permanent friends or enemies, just permanent interests. Abdul Hamid was playing for time. He used diplomatic stalling, legal challenges and obfuscation to delay European powers. The Treaty of Berlin in 1878 was designed to strip away more Ottoman territory. Abdul Hamid managed to delay its full implementation for years. Every day he could hold on was a victory against the forces arrayed against him. Abdul Hamid knew that if he wanted any hope of resisting European military pressure, he needed to modernize his army. The Ottoman military was lagging behind its European counterparts, and this was a significant concern for the empire's survival. He turned to Germany for help, recognizing their advanced military techniques and technology. German military advisors were brought in to train Ottoman troops, sharing their expertise and modern strategies. New weapons were purchased, and military schools were established to educate the next generation of soldiers. Abdul Hamid poured resources into this modernization program, investing heavily in both human and material assets. It was a desperate attempt to close the technological gap between the Ottoman Empire and its rivals, hoping to secure the empire's future in an increasingly competitive world. So this modernization came at a steep price. The Ottoman Empire sank further into debt to European creditors. Abdul Hamid tried to counter this by developing the Ottoman economy, encouraging infrastructure projects like the Hejaz Railway. But these efforts were too little, too late. Abdul Hamid faced challenges from within the empire. Liberal reformers agitated for change, and Abdul Hamid saw these movements as existential threats. He responded with ruthless efficiency, establishing a vast network of spies and secret police. Censorship was imposed, and dissenters were often imprisoned or worse. Abdul Hamid saw himself as the protector of Islam. He funded religious institutions, built mosques and schools, and emphasized his role as caliph. He projected an image of piety and humility, often appearing in public dressed in simple clothes. Abdul Hamid was deeply religious and genuinely believed in his role as the defender of the faith. In the end, Abdul Hamid II couldn't hold back the tide of history. Despite his efforts to modernize and strengthen the empire, the forces of change were too powerful. In 1909, he was overthrown in a coup by the Young Turks, a group determined to reform the empire and bring it into the modern age. Abdul Hamid died a prisoner in 1918. His empire in ruins, a shadow of its former glory. The world had moved on, leaving the Ottoman Empire behind. For over 30 years he defied the odds, using every tool at his disposal to preserve his vision of the Ottoman Empire. His reign was marked by both progress and turmoil. History is rarely black and white. It's a tapestry of greys woven from the actions of individuals like Abdul Hamid II. His legacy is a complex one, filled with both achievements and failures.